Basically, you have three energy. Getting asked a lot, what's the difference between M3 strength and conditioning and CrossFit? So I want to touch on that a little bit. Basically, you have three energy systems that our body uses, and we have the phosphagen pathway, which is the pathway of a power lifter, or if we were going to pick up a generator out of a truck, a 600-pound generator, our muscle fibers are extremely strong, but only last about 3 to 5 seconds. Then we have the pathway called the glycolic pathway, which is more of the pathway of an 800-meter sprint, a bodybuilder rep range somewhere between 12 to 20 reps, or perfect example is the NFL combine, the 225 bench press for reps. Some people say the lactic acid pathway. And then we have the oxidative pathway, which is the pathway of a marathon runner, or just the pathway we use in everyday life, walking to our vehicle. Basically, with these three energy pathways, CrossFit is a general physical preparedness training model. And I have all the most respect for CrossFit, but this is what we do differently. CrossFit trains each pathway concurrently. So they say, hey, we want to be generally physically prepared to train 33% in the phosphagen pathway, 33% in the glycolic pathway, 33% in the oxidative pathway. Well, M3 says we know there's a large population that wants to train for appearance. So M3 says, hey, we're not going to train solely for appearance. We're going to train for performance also, but we stand in the middle of the spectrum. So what we do is we gear our training towards the first two pathways predominantly. We train 45% in the phosphagen pathway, 45% in the glycolic pathway, and 10% in the oxidative pathway. And what this does, this allows us now to take on the characteristics of a marathon runner, or a lot of you guys see a lot of CrossFitters, they're extremely performance based, but they don't really have an appearance. People say, well, they don't even work out. It looks like he doesn't work out. Well, that's why you'll see M3, the guy's going to carry a little bit more muscle mass. He might not be as conditioned in the oxidative pathway as a CrossFitter, but by no means is he a one-trick pony, like say more so in the bodybuilding pathway. So basically, you ask, well, how do we do this? I come over here to our conditioning. Our conditioning event says, hey, look, we're going to do a 50-yard prowler push in 10 burpees, 4 rounds with 90 seconds rest in between. Most of the time at CrossFit, they're just going to say 4 rounds as fast as you can do it. So if you know you have 4 rounds to complete, you're going to, on that first round, you're going to save some in the tank because you know you got to make it all 4 rounds. But if I say to you, hey, listen, I want you to push this sled as fast as possible, as hard as possible, explosive as possible, and then do these 10 burpees as fast as possible. Then I want you to recover 90 seconds. So then you can come back and be as explosive again. We're not going to use inside CrossFit what I call a dog paddling effect, just trying to dog paddle to get through it. That targets this oxidative pathway. I want to target the phosphagen pathway and the glycolic pathway and be explosive. This is more towards, as you see, I have a football player written in between these two energy systems, and that's basically why M3 is real applicable to the power athletes or anybody who's wanting a appearance and performance-based style training. M3 Strength and Conditioning, 306 Duval Street.